All right, let's talk about something that affects millions and millions of people: hypertension. But here's the thing: the power to prevent it? A lot of that is actually in our hands. So in this explainer, we're going to break down the simple, totally doable steps you can take to safeguard your health. So let me start with a question for you. What if one of the biggest risks to your health was completely silent? I mean, no warnings, no alarms, nothing. Just quietly putting your well-being on the line. Well, that's pretty much the reality of the condition we're diving into today. Okay, so first things first, let's get a handle on this silent health threat. Because, before we can even begin to talk about prevention, we've got to know exactly what we're up against.
So what is hypertension, really? Well, it's just the medical term for high blood pressure. And you can think of it like this. Imagine the force of blood pushing against your artery walls is just consistently too high, over and over again. Over time, that relentless pressure can really start to damage those arteries, and that's what sets the stage for serious problems, like heart disease.
And this is the really tricky part, why it gets called this silent threat. It's because you can have it for years, I mean literally years, without a single symptom. You can be walking around feeling totally fine while this whole condition is just developing in the background. Kind of scary, right? And this is probably the most important thing you'll hear today, the good news is that prevention is largely within your control. This isn't about fate, not at all. It's about the choices we make. So let's dive in and see exactly what those choices look like. All right, first up, and this one's a biggie, fueling your body right. I mean, what we eat has such a direct, powerful impact on our blood pressure. It's huge.
Okay, check this out. It's like a balancing act, right? On one side, you've got these high-sodium culprits, things like processed foods, canned soups, fast food, that can really drive your blood pressure up. But on the other side, we've got these potassium powerhouses. And here's the cool part. Potassium actually helps your kidneys get rid of extra sodium. Plus, it helps relax your blood vessel walls. So see, adding more bananas or spinach or avocados, it's not just eating healthy, it's a really smart, strategic move against hypertension.
Yeah, this approach might ring a bell if you've ever heard of the DASH diet. It stands for Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension. But honestly, it's not nearly as complicated as it sounds. It really boils down to these simple steps. Fill half your plate with fruits and vegetables, go for whole grains instead of the refined stuff, choose lean proteins like fish and chicken, and, just think of sweets and red meats as an occasional thing, not an everyday staple. See? Super simple, totally sustainable changes. Okay, let's move on to the next piece of this puzzle. Move more, stress less. And believe me, these two are way more connected than you might think when it comes to your blood pressure. So you often hear health experts throw around this number, 150 minutes. That's the goal for moderate exercise every week. And I know, 150 minutes can sound like a ton of time. But what does that actually look like in real life? Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? Let's break it down, because I promise it's way more manageable than it sounds. And look at how achievable this actually is. We're talking about something as simple as 30 minutes of brisk walking 5 days a week. You could totally do that on your lunch break. Or maybe a nice long bike ride on the weekend. Hey, it can even be fun stuff like just dancing around your living room or getting really into your gardening. The whole point is to find something you actually enjoy that gets your heart pumping. Okay, now for that second part, stress. And this quote really just says it all, doesn't it? The mind and body are not separate. What affects one affects the other. Think about it. Chronic stress causes these repeated spikes in your blood pressure. And over time, that can cause damage, just like constant high blood pressure would. So managing your stress, it's not a luxury. It's an absolute necessity for your heart health. So how do we actually do that? Well, here are a few tried and true techniques. Things like mindfulness or meditation can really help calm your nervous system. Even just some simple deep breathing exercises. You can do those anywhere, anytime. And please don't underestimate the power of just getting outside in nature or connecting with friends and family. Every single one of these things helps bring down your stress, and that in turn can help lower your blood pressure. All right, we've talked diet, we've talked exercise, and we've talked stress. So let's pull all of this together in our final section, your very own prevention toolkit. Think of this as your personal cheat sheet, the whole thing summarized. For your diet, it's all about embracing whole foods and cutting back on the sodium. For exercise, aim for that 150-minute mark each week. For your mindset, you've got to actively manage your stress. And finally, your habits. Limiting alcohol and, this is a big one, avoiding smoking are absolutely non-negotiable for a healthy heart. And this right here is the key takeaway. You don't have to do some massive, life-altering overhaul tomorrow. It's the small, consistent choices that you make every single day. Taking the stairs, adding a salad to your lunch, just taking 5 minutes to breathe deeply. That's what builds a powerful defense over time. And that really brings us to the end. So I just want to leave you with one final thought, a question to take with you. After everything we've just talked about, what's one small change you can actually genuinely start today to protect your health for all your tomorrows?